Hello there. We're here with patch 1.3, or at least the beta with it, and we're checking out everyone's favourite nation, Bulgaria. Bulgaria receives a bit of content in this new update. You can see we're immediately greeted by this event, the Empire in name only, which reduces our Empire rank strength so that it's equivalent to a Kingdom rank. We can see through this unrecognised Imperial title modifier here. We're also going to get the Twilight of the Tsardom disaster. It's going to trigger immediately the moment the first month passes. There are several ways to legitimize ourselves and remove the unrecognized imperial titles modifier from Bulgaria, namely, resolving the Twilight of the Zardom disaster while owning Constantinople or being a great power, or conquering Constantinople after the Twilight of the Zardom, or becoming a great power after the Twilight of the Zardom. Since it's a new patch, there's quite a few new things to look at. I believe there's some new reforms we can select as well. Yes, we can see here these ones: Shield of the Faith, Rural Oligarchy. I think this Charter of Religious Freedoms might be a little too powerful. Look at that. 50% maximum RGO size? There's no way, right? There's no way they'll keep that. I suppose it doesn't matter as much because it's a city, and cities or towns have reduced RGO size anyway. So this basically restores half of the RGO size you lose when you turn a rural location into a town. Even so though, we'd need to get traditional and humanism up to achieve this. Those tolerance of heretics and heathens is also nice. Before we do anything, I kind of just want to let the month tick so we can see what the Twilight of the Zardom looks like and what we need to do to achieve it. Before we do that though, we'll set Byzantium as our rival. I guess we'll also set Serbia and Wallachia as our rivals too. Just rival everyone around us. We do start with a bit of war exhaustion, so we'll have our cabinet ministers get that down. We'll do the usual of increasing stability and increasing legitimacy. As I said, I'm not sure what we're going to be hit with once we unpause. We also have this new credit option. It seems we can automate it. I'm not sure what automating it will do. Hopefully it doesn't take loans, as I don't really want to take loans, right? One of the main problems we have economically is we have a lot of forts, to the point where we're actually over our fort limit, which is increasing their maintenance. I'm not going to demolish them though yet. I just want to see what the disaster is going to show off before I think about demolishing them. So let's just unpause and see what happens. I'm also not handing out government reforms for the same reason. All right, here we go. Twilight of the Zardom. The Zardom must not fall. So it looks like if we complete the disaster without owning Constantinople, we'll actually lose and our country will be demoted down to a kingdom. If we take Constantinople and finish the disaster, we'll lose the unrecognized imperial title modifier. We'll gain the City of Emperors event, which allows us to move the capital to Constantinople and accept Greek. We'll also gain the Conqueror of Constantinople modifier for our ruler until he dies. And then there's Dawn of a New Empire if we're both the great power and control Constantinople. It looks like it's about the same, but we gain a lot more prestige and stability and legitimacy if we complete it this way. I suppose we'll see what we can do. So this disaster is pretty terrible. Minus 25 to all the state satisfaction equilibrium, monthly complacency, complacency impact, monthly control decreasing, monthly rebel growth increasing. And the only way to remove it is to get our legitimacy and stability up. And we need to make sure these two nations don't exist. It looks like we do have a few options we can take, though. We can restore the realm's unity. Not clear what this does. Maybe we should press it just to see. Let's press it just to see. Ooh, actually, it gives us an annex casus belli on Serbia. That's interesting. That is interesting. So we could just annex Serbia using that. Should we do that right now? It sounds a little crazy. It does, doesn't it? First of all, let me hand out some of these government reforms. We'll go for the autocrat one, and we'll go for the feudal nobles. Because of the estate satisfaction malice from being in this disaster, the states are going to be very unhappy, and there's not much we can really do to stop them outside of just hoping. But yes, we could just conquer Serbia though, but would that do anything for us? Not really. We're not required to conquer them to complete the disaster. I suppose it would help us economically though. We could conquer Serbia and just release a bunch of vassals to manage the territory for us. In fact, we could release Serbia itself because it is a kingdom and we are an empire. And then together with Serbia, we could probably beat the Byzantine Empire without much trouble. I mean, we could probably beat them now. I'm tempted. I'm tempted to just defeat Serbia. If we defeat them as well, we'll also get quite a lot of great power status, especially if we release all their land as a vassal. You know what? Let's do it. We'll restore the realm's unity on Serbia, giving us the CB, and then I think we'll immediately declare war before anything untoward can happen. Apparently we're slightly weaker than them. We'll see if that's true. As discussed, we do have a lot of forts. We'll see if we can't use those to our advantage. We could also call up mercenaries if need be. And of course we could, as always, we could max our minting. We do have gold in our country, so there's profit to be made there. Thinking about it, before I did this, I should have handed out some privileges, like the common militias here. Oh, it looks like these privileges now let them build certain buildings. Like the peasants could build the training yard or training grounds if we have common militias. Well, let's grab common militias now, even though it's a little late, but at least it'll strengthen our soldiers a little bit. The goal of this CB is to occupy their capital, which is easier said than done because of how forted up Serbia is. I think what we'll do is we'll wait for them to cross our border, there they are, and then we'll see about annihilating them on our forts. Hypothetically, we could think about surrounding them and cutting them off so they start taking attrition, but there's a fort on their side, so we couldn't fully surround them that way. So, could we defeat them? It says we're going to lose. The train is to our benefit, but their army is a higher quality than ours, apparently. Do they have regulars? No, they don't have any regulars. Neither of us start with any regulars. It could be that Serbia starts with a research that makes their soldiers better. I used to be able to hover over these advancements and see what they did. That's definitely not good that that's removed. I mean, maybe it's intentional so I can't see what these advancements do, but I want to see what they do. Either way, should we attack them? We could call up the guys in the fort. There's not many of them, though. There's 600 more of them than there are of us. Ooh, they have a heavy cavalry. Do we have any heavy cavalry? We do. We have 480 heavy cavalry against their 340. So we have more heavy cavalry than them. They have a better general than us, though. They're actually being led by their ruler, but so are we. But he's got 100 mil. That's probably why their army is better than ours, because they've got high morale. Right, here's what we'll do. We'll hand out some privileges to the nobility. We'll hand out offensive army doctrine for that extra morale, and we'll hand out primacy of the nobility for that extra discipline. And now we'll attack. Our army is now apparently stronger. We'll also call up the guys in the fort once we arrive. Now we should be able to win. It might be a little close though, but it definitely looks like we're winning. Yep, there we go. Threw them back. Perfect. Now, as discussed, we do need to occupy their capital, which is going to be... Well, actually, we can go straight there. I thought we would have to bypass a fort, but we can go straight there. But the Serbian army still exists. So what we really want to do is we want them to fight us again, and we want to defeat them totally and potentially stack wipe them. That way we'll be able to move on their capital without being harassed. So we're going to pull back a little and see if we can't coax them to attempt to siege our forts again. Yep, here they come. It's now winter, so they're getting attrition on our fort now. Let's move in on them and attack. We'll call up the guys in the city again, or the fort, to reinforce us. And we'll... I think we stack wiped them. No, there's still 2,000 left. I think we should make a move on their capital now, though. Those 2,000 men are likely not enough to stop us if we siege their capital, so we'll make a move on it. The problem is that we're going to be cut off from supplies once we siege their capital down, or while we're sieging it. One option we do have would be scattering around little armies to occupy the locations to ensure we have a good supply of food. Oh, wait a minute! Wallachia has joined the war on the side of the Serbians. I don't think I was informed about this. It looks like they allied with Serbia at one point. That complicates matters. Hopefully our forts can hold up against them. We could always make peace with Serbia right now if we wanted to. We could get away with demanding the majority of their country, so that is an option. It would mean giving up on conquering them though. Let's go sit on their capital for a moment. What's our siege ability like versus theirs? Yeah, it's going to be quite hard to siege down their capital, isn't it? I think we'll actually just make peace right now, or we will once our diplomat is available, which is now. What should we demand then? We have cores on their territory, which is likely why we're able to use this CB. It might be worth leaving our cores in Serbian hands so we can come back later and full annex them. With that in mind, as I said, we're going to leave the cores and just take Serbian territory. It'd be really nice if we could take this province because it would give us a connection to their capital, so later we could just waltz in. We need a little bit more war score though. And there we go, a little bit more war score. We can't demand any money, but that's fine. When it comes to antagonism, it looked pretty good. The only person that's really going to be angry is of course going to be Serbia. Bosnia cares a little, I guess, but we don't care about them. So we'll make peace. We'll then release all this land as vassals. Luckily, that war didn't make Hungary unhappy enough that they want to attack us, so we're fine there. We are still over our fort limit, so perhaps we should demolish some now. There's a few that are next to other forts, so we probably don't need them. Ooh, and here's a negative event related to our disaster. Mutinies in the army. Well, we don't actually have any manpower, so I guess we'll pay 300 manpower. Sounds good to me. Now, we've built up a spy network on Byzantium, so we're going to fabricate a CB on them. I guess we'll just go for destroy the enemy. We just need to take Constantinople, or taking Constantinople will benefit us. Question is, can we beat Byzantium in a straight up fight? Actually, they no longer have any soldiers, and they're sitting at minus 85 stability. It's likely their estates have become rebellious, and so they can't actually field any soldiers. In fact, we just gained an event which gave us a bunch of claims on Byzantium. It's almost as if the game wants me to conquer them. But I actually don't want to use those claims because I want to use a destroy enemy CB because, or at least in the normal version, the main version, if you fight a war that involves stack wiping the enemy and you stack wipe them, you can force the enemy to capitulate, which means we'll be able to occupy Constantinople without having to siege it down, which probably goes without saying would be very helpful. Right, our destroy enemy CB is available. Byzantium will of course call in Trebizond, but that's actually a good thing because if Trebizond comes over, we can stack wipe them and gain ticking war score, which will push Byzantium towards capitulation. If worst comes to the worst, we will have to siege down Constantinople, but we'll do our best to avoid doing so. We also have all of the vassals we created, so they'll come and support us as well. Together we've got 15,000 or so men, so there's not much Byzantium can do. It looks like Byzantium's actually demolished nearly all of its forts. It's only kept the one in Constantinople, so we're pretty free to just siege down their country. I am hoping Trebizond does come over though, because if they don't, I guess we've already got the ticking war score from battles, so it doesn't matter that much necessarily. There we go, we've achieved 100 war score, so Byzantium capitulates. Of course we want Constantinople. Really, we could kind of just go crazy and take lots of territory. This would be about the max we could take. This would give us 300 antagonism though, which I think would be a tad too much. So we won't take all of this. Instead, we're going to take something like this, I think. The main people that are going to gain antagonists from this is Byzantium itself and Serbia, but they already don't like us. And I guess Bosnia and a few other people that are vassals, and Wallachia, of course. Then we're going to take a bunch of money. I'm taking this location just because of the gold mine here. We'll just release it as a vassal and they'll hopefully expand it and pay us tax. I guess we could also force Byzantium to release some vassals or release land to weaken them further. I'm not sure if we need or want to though. In a way, it's kind of better that Byzantium exists and is weak. I think we'll just wait a minute before we do. We'll have them pay worse war reparations. Not that they have much of an income. We've taken control of the patriarchal seat of Constantinople. We gain this event, the conquest of Tsargrad. Constantinople renames to it. We can show respect for the locals, which will give us prestige and legitimacy, or we can say another triumph for our people, which will convert a bunch of pops to being Bulgarian. It's a bit of a hard choice. Converting everyone to being Bulgarian does have its appeals, but I think we do need that legitimacy. Although, do we really? I mean, we do need it to complete this disaster, but I feel like we need stability more. But to be fair, converting all these pops won't give us stability, so I guess we'll take the legitimacy. Now we're going to start spending specifically to rush up our legitimacy and stability. We're likely going to go into a bit of debt doing so, but we really want to eliminate the disaster as fast as possible, right? We're also, as I said, going to release this land as vassals. We'll keep Constantinople, obviously, because there's the event that will let us make it our capital, and I think it calls it for us, so there's no reason not to keep it under our control. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have a revolt by the Greeks in our territory. They're going to take Constantinople. I guess we could give in to their demands, but that's going to lose us 25 legitimacy. We're very close to defeating the disaster. We just need around 10 stability and 4 legitimacy. Unfortunately, my stability and legitimacy keep being knocked down by random events, and our economy isn't doing too great either, due to the unhappiness amongst all of our states. But let's see about knocking out these rebels. I guess we can extract a little money from them. Oh, they didn't actually take Constantinople. That's excellent. I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a slog because we're going to have to siege Constantinople, but for whatever reason, they didn't get it. We should just be able to siege them down pretty leisurely then. Yep, there we go. It's as if there was no war. One of the things with this disaster is there's an event that keeps firing my cabinet ministers, but it does give me stability when it happens. So it's a nice event. Oh no, but now the Black Death has shown up in our country. We could exploit this if we just sponsor the mass forgiveness. That puts us very close to having enough stability. And sometimes the Black Death fades away almost immediately after it shows up, and then we could do it again. I'm not sure that's going to happen. No, it did. Black Death has faded away. It looks like they might have patched that though. It looks like sponsor mass forgiveness. No, it went away. So when the plague re-enters the country in a few moments, it should be, we should be able to once again sponsor mass forgivenesses. Yep, there it is. And now we'll sponsor mass forgiveness again. That puts us on 60 stability, which means the disaster should end. Kind of a pity. We could grab another Annex Nation CB on Serbia. It lasts for 4 years, so we'd be free to use it even after the disaster ends. What is our religious influence like? We're on 65. That's too bad. Could we go on a pilgrimage, actually? We'd need to take a loan, I think. But it doesn't look like it. If we had 55 ducats, we could go on a pilgrimage. That would only put us on 74, though. It'd be close. Let me just check. How close are we to bankruptcy? We're not that close. Let's take 2 loans. Then we'll go on a pilgrimage. This gives us enough religious influence to do the old Orthodox event. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, we can gain 10 legitimacy from this. So we'll restore the realm's unity on Serbia, immediately get 10 legitimacy from this discussing internal affairs, I believe. Yep. So now the disaster should just end. If we wait a month for it to tick. Bulgaria Ascendant. We have completed the disaster, giving us legitimacy, stability. Unfortunately, we didn't get the better version that happens if we're a great power, but honestly, becoming a great power is maybe a little out there. I guess if I'd spent more time in the disaster and not really rushed up to get my stability high, we could have done it. I just wanted to finish the disaster. Our ruler gains Conqueror of Constantinople. We lose the unrecognized imperial titles, and we get the City of Emperors event, which allows us to move our capital to Constantinople and core it, as well as accepting Greek culture, which I think we'll do. The City of Emperors, after all. And we also gain access to bureaucracies because our capital is now a megapolis. And now there are actually, in this version, bureaucrats for us to embrace. Only generic ones, though, it looks like. Board of Revenue looks quite good, as it gives us a cabinet seat for free, and if we pay for it, it'll increase tax efficiency. Privy Council also gives a cabinet seat, though, but it increases the pop join rebel threshold and only gives base parliamentary support. I think we'll just go with Board of Revenue. It's going to cost us a peck of legitimacy, but who cares about legitimacy now, right? The important thing is our estates can now actually pay tax without becoming incredibly unhappy, and we can start focusing on getting down our inflation and debts, which we let rise quite high. We could just jump Serbia, I guess, and use the war with them to extract money. Alright, let's attack Serbia. They are allied with Wallachia, same as last time. We have all of our vassals, though, so they'll hopefully help us bridge the gap. And we are a little stronger now that we've incorporated Greek, so we're able to call up 10,000 levies. What we'll probably do is defeat the Wallachians first when they cross the border. Then we'll move against the Serbians. There's the Wallachian army, all 8,000 of them. I did demolish all the forts in this area, so hopefully we can lure them onto a fort. Looks like they're moving in this direction. Maybe they're going to head and try and connect up with the Serbians. There is a fort in their way, though. Looks like they actually split their army in two. Not sure why. We could potentially take advantage of this if we just jump on that stack, but the other stack is waiting in the wings. I think actually we're going to run over and beat the Serbians. They're attacking all of our vassals in the area, and we'd like to stop that so our vassals can freely walk around and siege. There goes the Serbian army. The Wallachian army has managed to get over here, though, which is an annoyance. Most of our vassals have also been stack wiped due to their own incompetence, and the attrition from the Black Death has done a number on both of us. Serbia is almost full occupied, though. It's just their capital that remains unoccupied that we do need to take. I guess let's pursue the Wallachians. They are taking damage due to attrition. They may thin out their numbers enough that we can jump them. Apparently we are stronger than them, so we're going to jump them. Yep, we defeated them. Wallachia looks like they've demolished most of their forts, actually. They only have the one in the capital. This could be great. If we move in and just blanket siege them, we should be able to force them to peace out and take a bit of money from them. Yep, there goes Wallachia. We'll just take some money. No need to drag the war out. So now it's only Serbia. They only have 1,800 men left. The question will be, of course, how much damage do we take sieging down their capital? Let's first of all see if we can't just catch and destroy their last of their soldiers. Oh, and look who it is! Byzantium has actually joined the war on the side of the Serbians mid-war. They're very weak though. I'm not sure if this was a good idea on their part, but this could be an opportunity to extract more wealth from them. They haven't brought in any soldiers really. The only people with soldiers are their vassal, Epirus. Where's the capital of Byzantium located? It's over in Philadelphia, so there's no way we can occupy it. But we should be able to beat them up a little, enough that we can extract some resources from them, especially now that we've stack wiped, or we've defeated Epirus. They do have some soldiers left. There, Byzantium's gone. We'll extract some wealth from them. Now we can finally turn our attention to the Serbians. They only have 800 men left, so they shouldn't be any sort of challenge. Hopefully no one else joins the war mid-war though. There we go, we fully siege down Serbia. We'll annex them completely. Who will take offense to this, if anyone? Byzantium will, of course. Serbia will, but they're not going to exist. And then some other miscellaneous random folk that I don't think we care about. So there we go. Serbia gone. It's for the best, I'm sure. We could now release Serbia as a vassal. Because they're a kingdom, they'd be willing to be our vassal. We won't though, we'll release the usual sort of amalgamation of fiefdoms and vassals. And there we go, our Bulgarian Zardom is quite big now. We're still not doing too well economically. We need to bounce back from all of these loans and our inflation, though it's only up to 39. That's not as high as it could be. There is potential for a coalition, but it's only by small, irrelevant people and Venice at the moment, so I'm not concerned. Now we can just eat away at the last of Byzantium's land in Greece. With Serbia gone, we don't really have any rivals outside of Hungary in the Balkans. I suppose Wallachia is still there, but they're not really a concern. They failed to save Serbia, and I doubt they'll succeed at saving themselves. I think we have experienced all the unique events that we can get as Bulgaria, though. Or at least we've achieved status that means we can't achieve any of these. Yep, all of these events are either related to the Twilight of the Tsardom, or this one, for example, the Crumbling Empire, which requires Byzantium to have Byzantium, which they don't. But yeah, these two are related to the disaster. This one's related to us having the unrecognized imperial titles modifier. So is this one. And this one is about our primary ruler who actually died fairly quickly into the game. Yes, I think we'll leave it here. We haven't played very long, only 20 years into the game, but I feel like we've pretty much dominated our region. I did hear that diseases were quite bad in this version. I'm not sure if well, does the Black Death normally kill nearly 100 million people? I don't normally pay attention to those sort of things, so it's possible they don't. Ooh, it also looks like we gain access to a unique government reform, probably for winning the disaster. It's not a very good one though. Just 5% estate satisfaction and 10% cleric satisfaction, and then a little bit of prestige. I feel like every unique government reform should always give the one extra government reform so that there's no cost to taking it, because I'm not sure of a scenario where I'd actually take this over literally anything else. So if it gave the extra government reform, I could take it without even having to worry about such things. But either way, I think we'll leave it here as I said. Thank you for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this. Let me know how you've gone along with Bulgaria in the current patch, or the most recent one, the beta. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.